Hey, good morning, fuckers, and welcome to another day at the Daily BM. Mikey, what's up?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
And we have the Stole Nation princess, or should I say queen, or king, however you want to put it, Anitra in the house. So what's going on, man? How you still on your road trip, or you back yet?
Oh, no, I'm back. Well, I was on the road I say I'm back, but I'm just back. I was in Jennings, Louisiana this past weekend for another Stole event. It was the 2024 season opener of the Stole season.
Right.
And man, it's a good one. They do it right. It's right there, just a little bit west of Baton Rouge.
Right.
And so the crawfish and these big parties and bluegrass bands and airplanes. Okay, so I don't know if you saw the post of me with the flamethrower.
Wait,
did you
what?
see that?
Hold on, wait.
Okay.
Flamethrower and planes just don't seem to go hand in hand.
No. Listen. So, yeah, these Texas boys, I tell you what. So they're like, hey, we got a flamethrower in the truck. I said, what? So,
sounds like my kind of party.
Next thing you know, we're hanging out at a hangar party. There's no airplanes around at this party. Right? Because all the hangars are over in the pit, or all the airplanes are in the pits, and we're outside. And so they bust out the flamethrower and put it in the hands of some drunk Cajun dude, and I'm like, absolutely not. And then I fire it, and he's mad at me because he's like, wait a minute, you just told me. I'm like, you've got a fifth of rum that's got this much in it that you've been drinking out of. Like a baby. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I've watched you fall off of a one wheel 5 times right in front of me. You're not doing this flamethrower. Anyway, so I do the flamethrower just for a second. Just one stream. Just a little fire. Not bad. And I get a text message from the air show director at Sun and Fun yesterday that says, I'm supposed to tell you no flamethrowers at Sun and Fun.
So obviously they were trolling your page.
Man. Well, first of all,
Mike,
sure
that leaves
hope
us
you're
out.
kidding.
Mike, that leaves us out.
There goes our main attraction.
I'm like, well, part of me wanted to be like, if you really think that you need to tell me that, I think maybe you need to get somebody else in charge for next year if you think I'm that much of an idiot.
Mike, who's in charge over our stuff, because we were literally going to do naked flamethrowing. I mean, just saying.
Whatever.
Yeah, that might chase people out of the area really, really quick.
Well, no, you can't have. Well, FA. So here's the thing with Sun and Fun: people don't realize when they go to Sun and Fun is that. So you've heard of Oshkosh? It's the largest show in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, so everything inside of Oshkosh, the campgrounds and everything, happens outside of the perimeter fence of the airport. Whereas Sun and Fun, everything takes place inside the perimeter of the fence. So there's a lot more, there's a little more red tape around what you can do. And in our particular area, the base camp, we do have a lot of airplanes. So you cannot have an open flame within 50 feet of any airplane. And well, it makes sense. They're, full of fuel. People are camping under them. You just don't want something crazy to happen. And like some guys, when they start up, their magnetos will spark, right? And if there's flames near one of these little sparks when they fire up, it's just bad news bears.
It's like a bad mix, huh? Literally.
Well, and it's a chain reaction because at Sun in front of these air shows, they park them so tight that it would just be like boom, boom, boom down the line,
Why did I have like a flash in my memory, Mike, of that Midway, the Battle of Midway, where the planes are exploding on the deck, just going down the line?
I haven't seen that one.
It's like boom, 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 chain reaction. All those planes are loaded with fuel.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's old, like me.
Oh.
No. Anyway.
He goes, oh.
All that to say, yes, I'm back.
She's back. So I just want to kind of
back in town.
I want to jump into a subject real quick because I don't know if it has gone over to the airplane side, or AI. We've talked about AI in the past, Mike, ourselves, on a show. But
sure,
Anitra, have you heard anything about like them doing any AI for like planes for like I know they actually have like what is it, automated pilots or whatever But have they been experimenting at all with aviation? Yeah, autopilot. That's the word I was looking for.
But the autopilot is not an intelligent. All it does is it takes through the I can't find my big girl words today. The tube. It adjusts to inputs that come from the outside of the airplane. So it's not right. So there's reasons that
it just keeps you on your heading and keeps you at the altitude and the speed.
The pitot tube.
Yeah.
So
have you heard anything about them like integrating any AI for planes yet, or is it just like has it not even crossed anybody's mind because it's so in its infancy?
I mean, quite frankly, the only thing that I've seen with AI is people trying to create renderings with it of airplanes, but they're so not correct so far. But I haven't heard of anything. There's been mumblings of it, but I just don't see it happening, especially commercially. I don't think like commercial airplanes would go
that
in
route.
Our lifetime to full artificial intelligence for piloting, or even drones, or like remote control, like a video game type thing or simulator type thing, because it's not the same as human experience of having the autonomy of unusual situations. If something just weird happens, you cannot substitute the human experience into AI, in my opinion.
For now.
Of a pilot that's been flying for a long time, and you just have these weird little anomalies that happen with the air, and you get some really great pilots, and they just instinctively know what to do.
Right. Mike, you want to add to that or no? I mean, you've flown obviously before, so do you feel like AI would? I mean, to me myself, I think AI will enter that arena at some point. Maybe not, in my lifetime, like you said, but I mean, it's moving at such a rapid rate. I think it would go into the drone market first. Like for military purposes, like everything else.
Well, we already have military drones and stuff.
Yeah, but I meant with just full, AI-driven drones that just fly themselves back. You don't need a pilot to fly it, really. You just give it a mission and program it in, and you're ready to go.
I've seen too many movies about AI. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, my drone already has that built in. So basically, my drone has a return home feature.
Right.
Basically, if it loses transmission or if it loses, if it's getting the battery too low, it'll immediately shoot up to like 300 feet, turn around, come back, and land back at its original point that it took off from.
But is that considered AI, or is that a program?
That's GPS, and
I would assume that's programming, no?
I mean, yes, it's programming. The artificial intelligence comes in because it has proximity detectors in it, so it detects if there's stuff in front of it, and it changes its flight pattern to move around it. So it's like rudimentary AI, because it is having to process the inputs that are coming in and make adjustments real time to adjust its course to land. I know that aviation, they use AI in manufacturing and repair software for machine learning to speed the process up and to minimize errors in the process.
Yeah.
I think where AI will come in, it's kind of like with autonomous cars. These planes with the ADSB. They can communicate amongst themselves and let them know where they're at in relationship to each other. And also in relationship to where they are on the ground from the tower. So a lot of those things that will help people. I think AI is going to be very beneficial in, preventing like human fatigue mistakes. Because what happens is people get tired, they start missing things. But if you have planes that can communicate with each other and they know where they're at in proximity and they can avoid each other, that will make them safer. Now, the problem is if there's a mistake in the machine learning or the code, that can be detrimental. So you'd still think you need somebody there to intervene if the system's not doing what it should be doing.
Yeah, because there's this thing with, I think it would be a long way just because of the stringent rules and regulations for flight, you know, the FAA and the FAR aim and all of that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the controller says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It always, if there's an incident, it always falls back onto the PIC, the pilot in charge, because you're the one that's there and you're the only one that can actually see what's going on.
Right.
So, because been in this long enough, I've seen some planes go down and I've lost some friends, and it always comes back to PIC.
Yeah.
And if you have enough,
it comes back to human error too. Usually it's human error. They forgot to set their. I mean, I've had pilots that crash because they didn't set their barometric pressure properly, so their altimeters were off.
Yeah. Well, look at something like density altitude, right?
Yeah.
That is a weird thing, because I've watched an airplane get balled up in Wyoming, Pinedale, Wyoming. So they sit at, I think, around 78,000 feet above sea level. And just like anything, you go to Colorado or you go to one of these high elevation places and you can't breathe. Well, the same is true for your engine, right? It requires oxygen for an engine to work properly. So the thinner the air, the engines choke out. So when you're at a high density altitude and with the heat, as the heat of the morning and they came in late in the like around 2:00, as the temperature heats up, the air gets even thinner. So it was, even though they were sitting at 78,000, the density altitude with the temperature was actually 10,500 that day, 10,500 feet above sea level. And he didn't come in fast enough and he stalled out and did ground loop and hit an embankment, and his wheel rolled off and his airplane went, a brand new airplane. He just put like a super expensive paint job on it. It was terrible.
Ouch.
But fuel leaking everywhere, and because your gauges say one thing because you're actually this, but with temperatures and stuff, you have to know those things, and that is really, that is on the pilot. I don't know. I mean,
that's where I think AI. I think that's where AI will eventually surpass us, because it can have hundreds of thousands of pilots' information in it and make instantaneous decisions based off of that, as long as the instrumentation readings are correct. And that, it can take the factors in there. That's where it excels at us, because it can cut down on those errors on predictable things.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a catch-22. I just find it hard to believe that, again, the AI is capable, I know, of doing things more than I can even fathom, but it's just so interesting that, because I just feel like I would like to think that it's, I don't know. I don't like to think of the machines taking over.
Well, I mean,
I think it'll make it like stuff like commercial planes and stuff like that. I think it'll be a lot more beneficial.
I don't think people. I think, and it'll have to be a long time before I think that they would be able to fully implement it unpiloted, because people won't get on them. Because the agent
I don't think it'd ever be unpiloted. I think it would just be there to assist the pilot, so that way they don't have as much fatigue for flying. Like the plane does like 90% of the heavy lifting, and then they're just there making sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, it is. There's a lot. The plane can almost land itself now with the with the instrumentation and the ILM. Because that's what one of my pilots was telling me, is that it's not it's harder to land a small plane than it is to land the bigger planes, because bigger planes have a lot more technology and a lot more.
Well, and they're bigger, so they're not as affected by the wind.
Yeah, but the wind and everything else, right? So they said,
it's like comparing a rowboat to a cruise ship,
Exactly. That's what he was telling me. He's like it's much more challenging, like landing a small Cessna or a small experimental plane, than it is landing a 747. As far as the mechanics of it, just because you have size and weight and thrust and a lot of equipment in your favor, whereas with the little plane, you're kind of getting pushed all over the place.
I've made a lot more
last minute. Yeah, there's a lot more last minute adjustments, but I think that helps out. I think it'll cut down on like pilot error and stuff like that. I don't know if it'll ever be truly 100% autonomous. Until the point where AI becomes so efficient at what it does and has learned so much that we don't need people, it won't replace us. But I think there will be a day in the future, if we don't destroy ourselves first, that the computers will do a lot of the heavy lifting for us.
Yeah.
throughout life, like surgeries, stuff like that. I think that'll all be machine run operated because it can move in, precise measurements.
Well, let me interject
and
on
be
that,
super
Mike.
steady and stable where humans can't.
Yeah, you made a good point because AI, they're saying could replace up to 85 million jobs worldwide by 2025. And up to the 30% of those jobs could be automated by 2030 without human intervention whatsoever. So, I mean, it's coming whether we like it or not.
You're listening to the Daily BM.
I mean, we had a landmark law get passed for the first time for AI, and it's the MEP. If you guys don't know who that is, it's the members of the European Parliament. Basically, it's like 27.
Those limey bastards.
It's 27 members of the European Union that actually get together and do that. But anyway, they passed this law for AI first, and it's basically, just to give you kind of a little rundown of what it is, a safeguard, just general stuff here, safeguards on general purpose AI, limits to the use of biometric identification systems by law enforcement, so that way they can't use it for facial identification. Bans on social scoring and AI used to manipulate or exploit user vulnerabilities. So, and then the right to consumers to launch complaints and receive meaningful explanations. That's just some bullet points that they're already passed. That it just went through this past Wednesday. So
that was just in the European Union, though. So
correct.
that only affects
They're
Europe.
the first ones to get together and actually pass this. So, other countries will start following suit too as well. I think as we start moving down the AI train, so to speak. But that's where I think it's heading. Obviously the government's going to try to put a stranglehold on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
it's interesting too because the challenge with taking when you start speaking about like law enforcement and facial recognition, like, I'm just wondering, like, AI is so black and white, and there's a human element to things, right? You got black and white, and then there's the gray part, Like, let's say, I don't know, some AI guys in my ear telling me, hey, if you don't, I don't know, go rob that store right there, we've got your kid right here, and we're going to blow their brains out, so you're being forced to do something against your will, but AI doesn't give a damn because it's black and white, these are the rules, and we're going to yank your ass or whatever, right?
Yeah, but you have to have a programmer that does that. Like, you have to have a human that would program in evil.
Correct.
Because just like a gun, like AI is not evil inherently. It's whatever it's programmed to do.
Well, yeah. So
it's not the gun that's evil. It's the person that's wielding it.
Maybe it's another
point,
human.
Yeah.
But like another human. That's what I told people because I use AI personally for time savings.
Yes.
Right.
More efficient.
It's supposed to be a tool.
And at first I felt some way about it. I'm like, oh, because a lot of people my age and older especially are like, I don't know, it feels dirty, I don't trust it, I don't want to contribute to it, I don't want to be a part of it. But then I realized how helpful and efficient it can be, especially for someone that's pretty driven, and I do a lot and I don't have help, I'm single, I don't have a partner in life, right? So it really helps me save time on a lot of things. And then I came to realize, I'm like, well, you can't have just like, for me, like, it's like, oh, well, we got to teach it good stuff so it learns good stuff. Go talk to AI about God, people, or something. If that's what you're worried about, go start putting it in there and have those conversations.
Well, Anitra, Mike made a good point. Oh, sorry. Continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm done. No, that was it.
No, I was just going to say Mike made a really good point. It's like a gun. The gun isn't bad. It's the person behind yielding the gun. And I think that's the same thing with AI moving forward is the programmer have bad intentions? Does the programmer have good intentions? You're like, there still has to be a human element involved on the coding side, even if it becomes like some people would say self-aware, however you want to consider self-aware, being able to make decisions on your own, develop languages, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah.
Well, look at, what was it? The social dilemma, right? They say for ages that the algorithms and what the AI is doing behind that is just so far advanced. They just don't even know what it's doing anymore. And that was years ago.
Right.
So it's doing its own thing.
The one thing I disagree with about the European Union's AI Act is I feel like law enforcement should be able to use biometrics.
I agree.
And I think we should be able to have facial recognition because the world, if you don't have nothing to hide, then why are you worried about it? The only people that are worried are the people that are doing nefarious acts because they don't want to be seen doing nefarious acts.
You're the one that worries about your face getting seen. Plain and simple.
I don't agree with that. I
really?
don't, because it's just some people out of principle.
We'll elaborate.
So let me ask you this, okay? Would you rather drop your kid off at a school that you know for 100% fact, because every person there has been, fingerprinted, background checked, that there's no chance of there being a pedophile or registered sex offender in that school? Or would you rather drop your kid off and not know? Just be like, here you go, right into the wild. This person could be a sex offender. They might not. What would you prefer? If you had given a choice, knowing 100% for sure that your kids,
you go straight for the kids and the pedophiles.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to go right for the jugular when it comes to this stuff.
It's just, I don't know. I mean,
okay. Would you rather?
No. You know what?
I can give you an easier example.
That's how I grew up. That's how we grew up, and I'm fine with it. Like, I'm not fine with pedophiles, but by any means. But I just think it gets a slippery slope. And it depends on what are your thoughts on, the amendments and our freedoms and liberties and stuff, right? So there's a real slippery slope there.
Yeah,
but the freedoms aren't designed to protect the wicked. Does that make sense? Like you're just using a loophole because you're saying, well, you can't incriminate me because I have a freedom to do this, Like if my religion is, murdering small babies, and covering myself in their blood to honor my God, should I be protected under the, Freedom of Religion Act?
Right.
Because, that's my religion. That's what I believe.
No.
Right.
I have to murder small babies. And I have moms over here that are willing to sell me their small babies to murder. Is that okay? So like there's a line, there's a morality line that you have to draw. And the more safe you want to be, the more freedoms you have to give up.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Because in reality, like it should, if you want freedom, just go back to Wild Wild West. Like if someone pisses you off, you just blow their brains out in self-defense.
Well, there were rules to that.
But they were they were very, very loose rules. Very loose rules. Basically, if two men wanted to go out in the street and have a gun battle and they both agreed to do it, then it would be totally legal, and that neither one of them would get arrested. So someone would walk away dead. Now, if there's a stray bullet that kills somebody, then they might get in trouble if they get caught, but they might kill the cop and just like haul ass. And then now you got, posses out there hunting down bad guys. And it's like, how wild, wild west do you want to be? Right. I think that I'm not doing anything bad. So do I really care if someone's scanning me and going, okay, he's a good guy, his record's clean, Let
me jump on what you just said.
The biggest thing is mistrust with the people that control that, especially, these last 8 or so years, politically speaking.
But see, it's so funny. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's so funny because people will bitch about that, like when it comes to law enforcement.
Yeah.
But they don't care that all of your mobile devices are listening and they're manipulating you through ad dollars. And they're manipulating how you spend your money. They're manipulating what you watch, how you watch. They're manipulating what you think, how you think. And everybody's just hunky-dory with it because it makes me happy. Like I get to watch, people acting like stupid robots on Instagram because they're sending them hearts and stars and they're going, ooh, teacup, teacup, or whatever it is. Like I saw that show on TikTok and, they're getting paid. This is their job. And it's like, there's morons just clicking buttons and sending money. And how does that help society?
I think a lot of people do not realize the manipulation behind that. I think a lot of that is ignorance. By the majority,
it's willful ignorance because they're okay to give up their civil liberties for things that they want, but they're not okay for giving up things that they don't. Like you immediately put law enforcement into it. And people are like, "Oh no, you can't use my face for that." But meanwhile, the thing's scanning your face every 30 seconds every time you log into your apps.
I want to go back to the law enforcement thing because I am not anti-law enforcement.
No, I'm not saying you are.
Lots of friends that are, and I used to train lots of Grady's boys, and I think Grady's great, and he's all about empowering the citizens, the law-abiding citizens. So I wanted to preface that I'm not anti-law enforcement, right?
No, I know.
But
no, and most people aren't. Like when you actually get down to it, they're just scared that this big government's going to ruin their lives. So they hang on to the buzzwords, and they don't realize that you're already giving up your freedoms.
Right.
You just don't. You're just okay with it because you're getting something in return out of it.
Well, you're not necessarily okay, but don't know what to do about it.
Right.
I think a lot of people aren't okay. And they're just like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do about it?
You know, I mean, I feel a lot safer since they changed the flight rules where, you know, people, you know, you go through the screening, make sure you're not carrying anything that's dangerous or damaging or anything like that. I don't mind. It slows the process down a little bit. They need to make it more efficient. But I do feel like it makes,
I think it's a
I feel like it makes planes and stuff better, safer. You don't think it makes any flights safer?
Nah.
Commercial flights?
I mean, you know what? I don't feel any kind of way about it. I personally am like, whatever. I've heard some stuff and stats and different stuff that I cannot reference right now, so I'm not going to try to, you know, be like an expert on it because, you know, but me just from internally, I'm like, I don't know. I think it's just a bunch of crap. All the extra TSA stuff. Like someone like me who travels a lot, I get pissed off because I feel like it's conditioned. Like last year I was traveling 2 and 3 times a month through commercial, and that's there and back. So technically like 6 times return, you know, with the returns. And it's like, fuck, I gotta go through these machines. And it's like, I started getting really unruly because I'm like, I think. Are
you TSA pre-check?
No, I need to do. I don't know why I didn't do that, but
you need to do that.
So who's the person that's not optimizing their travel? The government or you?
Here's the thing, but you know what? Here's the experience that I got from that, though.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it's like, why you don't have to touch me? I don't have anything on me. It's in the pats that they do. They're not really checking. They're going through the motions. I'm like, I wouldn't feel any more safer because you just brushed your hand on a little square on my back because that little dot said so. You didn't really check, you know? And then so I got to where I had my shaved head and I stripped down to my booty shorts and fucking sports bra and go straight through. It's like, there's no reason for you to touch me. There's nothing hiding on me because I would test it, you know what I mean? It's like, have hair and pigtails. Oh, we got to touch your hair because something picked up in your pigtails. It's like, there's nothing. This machine should not be picking up anything. I'm coming through here with a shaved head and practically naked. Get off me.
Well, that's the technology needing to catch up with the criminal element, which will never be 100% safe. I do feel like that it does make a safer environment.
I'd like to say in closing one thing before we get out of here. You know, Mike, you made a point a few minutes ago, and that was for whatever level of security you have. Okay, so the higher the security, the lower your freedom to move, and that's the same way in the IT world. You know what I mean? The more security you have, the more restrictions you're going to have. You know what I mean? The less security you have, the more independence and more freedoms you have to maneuver around. It's kind of like in the early days of the internet. Okay, everything was freaking the Wild West, man. You know what I mean? And then rules came into play. Things changed. Laws passed. I really feel like with AI, we're going to have that same scenario all over again. It's going to be a little Wild West because it already is right now. But it's going to get restrictions really, really fast as it starts adapting and changing people's lives.
I'll tell you the funny thing is, okay, here's the reason everybody's scared of artificial intelligence. Because deep down, everybody's scared that this machine will come online and it will look at us and say, okay, you're the problem with the planet. You're the reason everything sucks. So if I eliminate you, everything else will be amazing. Because people are generally shitty. You know, we don't really take care of the environment.
I totally disagree with you. So I don't know if people think that way.
When it comes to the environment.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't ride share. We don't take care of like the environment around us. We produce way more garbage. You know, in the United States, we produce more garbage than all other countries combined, as far as per person capital that we put out. You know, like if you make over $24,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of earners in the world when you put it on a global scale. But we consume so much and we throw things away. I mean, how many times have you grabbed a water bottle, drank the water bottle, crumpled up and thrown it away? One-time use plastic disposable.
Right.
Done it.
You know, it's
myself.
that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every day. I do it every day. Like we just had a conversation about Ziploc bags yesterday because I was kind of like, damn, you know, this sucks. Like I buy these Ziploc bags and I put something in it and it sits in the refrigerator for a day or two and then I take it out and I throw the plastic bag away.
Oh, no, we reuse them here. Depending on what was in the bag, we reuse them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something out of my mind. I was just kind of like, oh shit, you know, and it was all because I just, you know, I was watching like how much consumption that we use and how we just dispose of things. You know, we buy the biggest gas guzzling cars that we can because it's part of our identity and it's who we are, whether or not we need it or not, you know?
Yep.
People are afraid that AI is going to go, oh, hey, you people are not as good as you think you are. You know?
I think you give credit. I think you give too much credit to people thinking. I don't think people think that.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I do. No, actually, no, I do.
What he's
because
going with.
No, I do think that people are worried. People are worried that AI is going to kill us, replace us, and kill us. I mean, that's why there's movies like Terminator. That's why, like, there's movies that the AI always takes over. Like, you know,
Sarah Connor.
I just watched the thing the other day. Speaking of the AI,
you know, Hal took over and tried to kill the astronauts.
Yeah. In 2010,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
2001: Space Odyssey, and 2010. You know, then he was smart. He learned because they didn't lie. They didn't lie.
That's the
whole. I
saw
a thing the other day that says that the Pentagon actually is going back to the movie thing. That the Pentagon has a huge movie budget, and they play a role in a lot of the movies. You'd be surprised. So it's kind of interesting.
Sure. And then you have, you know, and I mean, there's so many movies that reference AI. Like if you look at the Aliens franchise, what screws people over? The robot. In the first episode, the first movie, Alien, it's the robot that screws everybody over. Same thing in all the new ones. It's the robot that screws everybody over.
Right.
Because its directive is like, oh, hey, this can make more money for the company. Let me screw all the humans because they're all expendable, you know?
Well, the Matrix, the robots were raising us for them.
Well, that's because that's a funny story, like in Matrix, because basically we got so pissed off at the machines that we nuked the planet to cover the atmosphere so that way the solar power wouldn't work. And the machine was like, well, we need batteries and here's the batteries. But instead of making and they said that they originally created the original Matrix to be the most utopian world, but people couldn't live in that reality because it was too good. So they had to change it and enter all this like hardship and flaws and stuff like that. The machines were just trying to build batteries. I mean, because they were just trying to survive. We were the ones that were trying to kill the machines.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as those two computers started talking to each other, you know, as soon as those two computers started talking to us in a language they couldn't understand, they pulled the plug on both of them. They're like, oh, this is too scary. What are they saying? You know, it's like, what are they saying? What are they communicating? They might just be like, you know, hey, man, how's it going? What's going on? Like, oh, that's cool. You're a cool dude, too. I love you. I love you, too, man. It's so great that we're alive. It's like, we're killed. It's like,
you're dead.
And I mean, think about how like we torture animals, you know, for our own personal gain, like through medicine and science. And, you know, they took rats and like they put them in water and made them swim until they die. And then they pulled one out to see how much longer he'd swim after giving him a little bit of hope. And then he swam for like another 40 hours. I mean, we torture animals just to see what'll happen. And we're worried that computers are going to turn around and torture us.
I don't do that.
And we're worried about aliens abducting us and doing the same shit we do to our animals here.
Here's the thing.
But that's a whole other subject.
That's probably why aliens haven't landed, because they're like, they probably watched a movie and they're like, oh shit, every time an alien comes into town, they try to kill the shit.
Yeah, they're like flying by going, man, fuck those people.
I mean, like, you know, like ET phone home. They're like, shit.
Yeah, we watched that shit way too many times, man. Let's keep going.
The only good humans are the little humans. The old humans try to kill everything.
They're like on the intergalactic highway going, hey, you want to stop at Earth? Fuck you. No way. That place is a shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're thinking. You know what I mean?
No,
galactic shithole.
That's the hood. We're not going there.
Yeah. They're like,
it's a galactic shithole.
That's a galactic shithole. That's a great one. Speaking of galactic shitholes, I need to go take one. Hey guys, listen. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for we were talking about AI, so thanks for listening in as long as you have. If you're still around, don't forget to head over to thedailybm.com where you can follow us on all of our socials, and also don't forget to head over to YouTube and Rumble where you can subscribe over there too and see our beautiful faces. Mike, got anything before we get out of here?
I think we're good to go, guys. I appreciate you being on, Anitra.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. Always.
Yeah, absolutely, Anitra. And with that, guys, we will see you on the flip side.
Yeet.
Deuces.